Hey there! Welcome back to Total Geek Live Baltimore Presents. I'm Baltimore, and I am here to bring to you today War of Kings and Realm of Kings. Why am I bringing these two together? Basically because they're one mega story kind of broken up into two parts, or they're one series with a direct sequel that's kind of um, directly linked. It kind of doesn't have really much of a space in between it. So I'm bringing you both of these events today. So War of Kings basically is 2009. It's a 6-issue series written by Dan Abnett and Andy Landing. These are the architects kind of the Marvel Cosmic Universe. They've been around since the Annihilation, Annihilation Conquest. They've brought out Nova, they've brought out Guardians of the Galaxy. So they are a trusted brand when you want to talk about Marvel Cosmic events. So there's kind of a lead up between at the end of Rise and Fall of the Shi'ar Empire. Vulcan is now the Emperor of the Shi'ar. So he is kind of in control of all that, and he's not necessarily a good guy. So he wants to just, ram through whatever he wants through to the rest of the world. So this is kind of seismic and not so good. So you have a lead up to this, which is called X-Men Kingbreaker. And it's basically a mini-series about the Starjammers, which are the remaining members of the Starjammers, plus the members of the X-Men that were left in space, which would be Havoc, Marvel Girl, Rachel Grey, and Polaris. And they join up with the Starjammers, which would be Corvus, Chode, Raza. So they are all mixed up together, and they are fighting the Shi'ar to try to stop the evilness that is Vulcan. So the fallout of this Emperor Vulcan of the Shi'ar is expansion. They want to expand and get more land, more territories. And after the devastation of the Skrull Empire and the Kree, after the Annihilation Wave and everything, the Inhumans have shot to the stars. They've left Earth in search of their masters, I guess, so to speak. And they're going to take over the Kree. And how this goes about is, at the end of Annihilation, you have Ronan as the Emperor of the Kree. And the Inhumans come to kind of take over the Kree, which is very weakened at this state. And he decides, Black Bolt decides that they're going to have a sort of symbolic ceremonial wedding between their two nations or empires, or however you want to describe it. The royal family of the Inhumans plus Ronan, and that happens to be Crystal. And she gets up. Poor Crystal. She's with Johnny Storm for a while. She's with Quicksilver, not so good. With the Black Knight sometimes, but that didn't end up so well. And now she's being forced to marry Ronan. And it's a political type of move to kind of satiate the two factions of people. Poor girl. And at her wedding, guess what happens? Vulcan and the Shi'ar destroy it. Come in and have a big fight. So that's pretty not so good start for their wedding. So the Imperial Guard come in and they kidnap Lilandra, who's staying with them, to try to avoid Vulcan as the Emperor of the Shi'ar. So they are kidnapped. She's kidnapped, and the Starjammers plus the Guardians of the Galaxy launch an attack and try to save her. It doesn't go as well as they would hope. They try to save her, restart everything, keep the peace, and prevent Vulcan from going crazier, as if that's even possible. And one thing I did really like about the War of Kings series is it brought back Darkhawk in a really cool way. So Darkhawk, if you don't know, was like a 90s hero. This guy on Earth found an amulet, and the amulet transformed him to Darkhawk. And he had a pretty significant, 50-issue run. And then, kind of sort of went with the Avengers for a little bit, sort of went with the New Warriors, and then just petered out and disappeared for limbo in many, many, many years. So this series, this War of Kings, brought Darkhawk back, and instead of being the lone survivor of whatever, it's revealed that he's actually a fraternity of raptors. So there are more than just the Dark Hawk that we know and love. There are more. One called Talon, one called Razor, and they are charged with saving the Shi'ar and protecting the Shi'ar, the M'Kraan, anything that's related to the Shi'ar. They are there to protect it and keep the Empire strong. So there's a pretty good, fun little 2-issue miniseries with Dark Hawk in it that kind of deals with that. It's pretty fascinating. He gets possessed, he gets turned around, he gets kind of chewed up and spit out. Unfortunately, it didn't do too much with him afterwards, which was a really big shame. He ended up back on Earth in a weird series that just didn't quite make sense at all for him because he should have been not. Anyway, it wasn't working. Anyway. So back to War of Kings. So we have the Raptors that are attacking and trying to save, protect the universe, and we have Darkhawk being manipulated and invisibly sneaking up and assassinating Lilandra before Marvel Girl could suss him out and protect her. She is killed. Lilandra is dead, and all the hopes of a Shi'ar empire under her rule are for naught. So it's really big cosmic, that's a huge thing that comes out of this. So you have this battle, the two kings, Black Bolt, the king, sort of the Inhumans and the Kree, and you have Emperor Vulcan, king of the Shi'ar, and they are gonna duke it out in a big, huge way. And all the while this, you have Blastar in the negative zone, who kind of takes control of that with the cosmic control rod, and they actually have to kind of go to him for help. Imagine that, kind of going to, I guess it's one of those enemy of the enemy type of situations. But at the end, you have a huge knockdown, blowout fight between Vulcan and Black Bolt. Black Bolt with his sonic, scream power, devastation, and Vulcan with his energy manipulation. It's just a battle on an epic scale. And then they end up destroying each other, destroying and blowing up and creating what they now will call the Fault. And that is this area between the two worlds. So the repercussions going out from War of Kings is you no longer have Black Bolt, he's not there anymore, and you no longer have Vulcan. So Gladiator of the Imperial Guard becomes Emperor of the Shi'ar, which is a great, interesting move, and one that we'll see for quite some time. The other fallout of this is actually the Fault, this mysterious, weird area that they have to explore and figure out what's going on. And you'll see this coming up in the Guardians of the Galaxy series, with them trying to figure out what the Fault is and how they can kind of take care of it and what it actually is. And this all directly moves into a thing called Realm of Kings, which I talked about earlier. And that's just the reason why I kind of bounce these two together. So Realm of Kings happens, and it's not necessarily it's more of a theme event, as opposed to a crossover event that we've seen before in the cosmic world. You do have some miniseries that bound out of this. You have Inhumans, a Realm of Kings and Humans, Imperial Guard mini, and a sort of weird adjacent one called Son of Hulk, which takes Hero Kala, Son of Hulk, through the microverse. That one's kind of tangentially related to this. If you were going to read all of them, or pick one to read, I'd probably drop that one, because it's not quite, connected to the rest of them. So basically, the Realm of Kings deals with the Fault and what it actually is. And it turns out it's a tunnel of sorts to another universe, a dark universe, a universe where life never ends and death is not there. And they call it the Cancerverse. And there are all sorts of dark relations, dark versions of heroes. You have a Lord Marvel instead of Captain Marvel. And you have, instead of the Avengers, they have the Revengers. So there's pretty epic battles. They're trying to stop whatever this Fault is and this Cancerverse from spreading, because if it comes into our world, it's game over. So The Realm of Kings is it's a direct follow up to the War of Kings. It's more thematic. You have two miniseries, three miniseries that roll out of it, but it's not necessarily as um, you know uh, big to follow. You have Nova and Guardians of the Galaxy, and they have the Realm of Kings imprint on it as well. So it's all kind of connected, but it's sort of in a not real specific tied storyline. So they're kind of dealing with what this actually means and how they're going to stop the Cancerverse from spreading into our universe. Um, so I would definitely get the War of Kings. I think it's really fun, especially Kingbreaker from the X-Men, because it deals with some of my favorite characters. I really enjoyed seeing them, and it does shake up the status quo quite substantially. You had the death of Lilandra, you had the death of Vulcan, death of Black Bolt, his disappearance, and now we have the Fault. So it does lay a lot of groundwork for the next few years of Marvel Cosmic. So I definitely would pick it up. But let me know what you think. Did you read War of Kings? Did you read Realm of Kings? What did you think of them? Were there any ones that you liked more than the other? So let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all those good things. And as always, it's all geek to us. And I'll see you soon.